I grew up in a small neighborhood outside Dayton, the kind where Halloween actually meant something. Porch lights, cheap fog machines, that smell of burning pumpkins and wet leaves. Every October 31st, the whole town turned into a carnival of masks. Except for one street, Hawthorne Lane. Nobody trick-or-treated there. Not because it was dangerous, it just didn't feel right. The lights never turned off. Every house looked frozen in time. Perfect decorations, carved pumpkins that never rotted, music faintly playing from inside, but no one ever answering the door. And the weirdest part? If you stood still long enough, you could swear you saw people moving inside those houses, silhouettes behind curtains, laughing. Like a party that had been going on for years. I was 13 when my friends dared me to go down Hawthorne Lane. Just knock on one door, they said. Bring back candy and you're a legend. Easy enough. So I went. The air got colder as I walked. Not windy, just hollow. Halfway down, I realized all the jack-o'-lanterns had the same face. Wide, oval eyes and a long, smiling mouth, like something that had seen you first. I picked the nearest house, a red one with cobwebs too perfect to be real. The porch creaked. The door was slightly open. I remember thinking someone's expecting me. Inside, the lights flickered like old film. There were voices, but muffled, distant, laughter, clinking glasses. I called out, "Trick or treat?" No answer. The living room was full of people, frozen. Adults and children, all standing perfectly still, dressed in Halloween costumes from different decades. A woman in a flapper dress. A boy in a werewolf mask. A firefighter with a half-burnt uniform. Each one held a candy bowl, arms outstretched, faces grinning, unmoving. I stepped closer to one. The smell hit me first. Not rot, more like wax. That's when I saw the wick at the top of his head. They weren't people. They were candles. Then, a whisper behind me. "You're late." I turned. The hallway was empty. "We've been waiting for you." The candles began to flicker one by one. And slowly the faces began to melt. Wax tears dripped down their cheeks, revealing gray, cracked skin underneath, like something that had been dried out long ago. One of them smiled wider and said, "It's your turn to light the way." A sudden warmth spread across my cheek. I touched it. What? It was coming from me. I ran for the door, but when I opened it, I was back at the start of the street. Every house lit up at once. Pumpkins burning bright. Children's laughter echoing in reverse. And there, at the end of the lane, my friends, still waiting for me. But they weren't moving. Their faces were pale, candlelight flickering in their eyes. And above them, hanging from a power line, was a single sign swinging in the wind. Hawthorne Lane, Annual Halloween Block Party, 1979. I wasn't born in 1979. I don't remember how I got home that night. My parents said I was found sitting on the sidewalk, holding a melted candle shaped like a boy's head. They moved away the next year. Hawthorne Lane was bulldozed to make way for new housing. But every Halloween, my porch light turns on by itself. And sometimes I find a bowl of candy waiting at the door. Each piece wrapped in black wax paper, each stamped with a familiar face, my own. People always say Halloween is harmless fun. Costumes, candy, laughter. But in Ashthorne County, it's different. Every year, from October 28th to November 1st, people lock their doors before sundown. No trick-or-treating. No lights. No parties. And no one, under any circumstance, opens the door after dark. I didn't believe that rule. Not until I broke it. I moved to Ashthorne in 2016. It was a quiet, farming town in the Midwest, barely 900 people. After a messy divorce, I wanted peace, and the house I found seemed perfect. Cheap, isolated, big enough for me and my daughter, Lily, who was 7 at the time. The real estate agent seemed uneasy during the tour. She kept glancing at the windows and avoiding the backyard. When I asked why, she laughed it off, nervously. But before I signed the papers, she said something that didn't sit right. "Just don't celebrate Halloween here. Not after dark. People will understand." I thought it was some local superstition. Small towns always have them. I was wrong. 2 days before Halloween, my neighbor, Mr. Dalton, came over. He was in his 70s, tall, thin, always wore the same brown hat. He didn't make small talk. Just stood at the door and asked, "You got kids?" When I said yes, his face tightened. "Keep her inside that night. If you hear knocking, don't answer. Even if it sounds like her." That last part chilled me. He left before I could ask what he meant. Later that night, I found a small carved wooden mask hanging on my fence, like a child's face smiling. I assumed it was a prank. Lily thought it was funny. She called it the pumpkin face. We left it by the porch. That was mistake number one. On Halloween night, we watched movies, ate candy, the usual. The whole town was dead quiet, no trick-or-treaters, no lights. It felt wrong. Around 9:15 we heard it. 3 slow knocks. Lily ran to the door before I could stop her. She pressed her ear to the wood and said, "It's a kid, Daddy. He's asking for help." I froze. There was no voice, no sound, just silence. Then something scraped across the door, like fingernails. I pulled Lily away, heart pounding, and looked through the peephole. A child was standing on the porch, wearing the same wooden mask I'd found on the fence. But the mask wasn't on, it was grown into his skin. Wood and flesh mixed like tree roots and meat. His eyes behind it were black, completely black. Then he smiled and blood ran down the edges of the mask. I turned off the lights. We hid in the kitchen until dawn. When I finally opened the door the next morning, the mask was gone, but small, muddy footprints led into the woods. I called the sheriff. He told me not to worry, said it was probably a prank. But the way he avoided my eyes told a different story. That afternoon, I went to the library to dig through local archives. That's when I found it. In 1965, there had been a school fire on Halloween night. 18 children died inside. The only survivor was the teacher, a man named Jonas Harland, who later vanished without a trace. Witnesses claimed the children had been part of something, a ritual or game, involving wooden masks carved from local ash trees. The masks were supposed to protect them from evil spirits. But when the fire started, the masks burned into their faces. And after the fire, the children's bodies were never recovered. Only their masks were found, scattered in the woods behind my property. On November 1st, around midnight, the power went out. I lit a candle and tried to calm Lily, who said she was hearing voices in her room. I went to check and froze. There were 3 children standing outside her window, each one wearing a different wooden mask, burned and cracked. Their clothes were blackened, soaked, dripping water like they just climbed out of a pond. Lily whispered, "Daddy?" They said they want to come inside. Then 3 knocks echoed through the house, not from the front door this time, but from the walls. Every knock came closer. Floorboards creaked. The air turned cold. I grabbed Lily and hid in the bathroom, holding her while she cried. I could hear them whispering through the keyhole. "It's your turn to wear it." The next morning I found something on the porch. A small piece of newspaper, dated October 31st, 1966. It was an article about the fire. Below it was a photo of Jonas Harland, the teacher. He looked familiar. Too familiar. It was Mr. Dalton. I went to his house immediately, but it was empty, dust, cobwebs, no furniture. The entire place looked abandoned for decades. On the kitchen wall, written in ash, were the words, "The children stay with him now." We left Ashthorne County the next day, moved 3 states away, changed our names. But every year as Halloween approaches, Lily changes too. She gets quiet, watches the window. Last year, I found her in her room, whispering to the air. When I asked who she was talking to, she said, "The boy with the pumpkin face. He says it's almost time." I wasn't planning to celebrate Halloween that year. Work had drained me, my friends had all moved away, and honestly, I'd outgrown the fake scares. But around mid-October, an email arrived from an unknown address. Subject line, "Happy Halloween from your past self." It had no message, just a link to a website. When I clicked it, it opened a blank page with one thing in the center. "Your costume is on its way. Don't forget to wear it on October 31st. I laughed it off. Probably some marketing gimmick. Until 2 days later, a plain cardboard box showed up at my apartment door. No return label. No company name. Just my full name and address written in sharp, slanted handwriting. Inside the box was a mask. It wasn't plastic or rubber, it was made of something organic. Soft, textured, pale. Almost like stretched skin. The eyes were too realistic. And the inside was warm. I threw it in the trash immediately. That was mistake number 1. That night, my laptop camera light flickered on. I wasn't using it. The screen glowed and a video started playing automatically, a recording of me sitting at my desk typing. Except I wasn't typing. I was just staring straight into the camera. The timestamp said October 31st, 11:58 p.m. A date that hadn't happened yet. At the end of the video, I leaned close to the camera and whispered, "Don't take it off this time." Then the screen went black. The next morning, another box arrived. This one smaller. Inside was a folded piece of paper. Sigh. You threw away your face. We made you another. Underneath was another mask, identical to the first. But when I touched it, I realized it wasn't dry like before. It was bleeding. I called the police. They told me it was probably a prank. Said I could file a report if I had a suspect. When I checked my security camera footage later that night, the video showed someone leaving the box. Someone wearing my clothes. Moving exactly like me. In the days that followed, my reflection started acting strangely. Sometimes I'd catch it smiling when I wasn't. Other times, it lagged, like it was thinking for itself. The dream started next. Every night, I was standing in a dark room, surrounded by mannequins. Each one wore a version of my face, older, sadder, disfigured. And in the dream, I always heard the same whisper. "It's your turn to wear the right one." On October 30th, I decided to leave town. I packed my bags, locked up, and tried to sleep one last night before driving out at dawn. At 2:03 a.m., my phone started ringing. The caller ID said me. When I answered, I heard breathing, slow, steady, identical to my own. Then my own voice said, "You can't go. The costume only fits here." The line went dead. I woke up to a knock at the door. When I opened it, there was no one there, just a mirror. Someone had left a full-length mirror leaning against the wall, facing me. And taped to it was a note. "Put it on before midnight." Behind me, reflected in the mirror, I saw movement. A shape standing in the corner of my living room, wearing the mask I'd thrown away. I turned around. No one. When I looked back, the reflection was closer. And smiling. I smashed the mirror, grabbed my car keys, and ran outside. Except, the street was empty. No cars. No lights. No sound. The sky was wrong, like the stars had been rearranged. And when I checked my phone for the time, the screen said, October 31st, 11:59 p.m. I don't remember putting the mask on. I just remember the burning. The sound of skin fusing with skin. And then clarity. I could see everything. My apartment. My body slumped against the wall. I was watching myself, from the other side of the mask. The next morning, a package was delivered to my old office. No return address. Inside, a plain mask, still warm. And a note that said, "Your costume is ready." If you survived this story, prove it. Hit the like button and comment how you feel. Don't forget to subscribe to help us keep creating trembling stories for you.